Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. When you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. When you put water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
So with Bruce Lee, a lot of the questions concerning Bruce Lee were his family has this tradition, and that there was the story behind a curse that this family actually had, and that they actually had to dress, I believe it was Bruce Lee, as a girl, because they were trying to protect him from specific demons and spirits. So that's something that I definitely would like Andrew to elaborate on, especially how Bruce Lee died, and then what happened with his son Brandon Lee. You know, the phenomena there, and how he died. What was the name of that movie? Black Crow. The Crow. And you know, the understanding behind that, and the Hollywood involvement, as well as, you know, also Hong Kong. He's you know, his teacher. They made actually a movie about him, Ip Man 1 and Ip Man 2. The connection, again, how Andrew was talking about how the incarnated dragons and the dragon clans, so they go to the masters to deal with the templates of what they are and who they are, to focus and live in this world that is another world purely for them, and how their DNA skin suits function with their specific signature frequencies. So that would also be very interesting to talk about. And also, why was it such a problem when he came to America to teach the sacred arts? And what actually happened between the dragon clans then? Because there really was a problem. This is another part of the aspect that we need to look into.
This goes back to why Constantinople, Rome, was the two-pronged defense against a reality invasion, which was Genghis Khan. And Rome was trying to do at that time take over thousands of different timelines and dimensions by the implementation of their Bible, and their Bible bled through back into time and ran over Genghis Khan. So they began interacting with each other on different timelines, dimensions, and spaces.
And that's why they didn't want Bruce Lee to come and bring that frequency, what the schooling and the teaching, all these different other clans in at that time, because what he was doing is he was teaching Caucasian DNA skin suits. Exactly. Now this is the key to that. It was a Caucasian DNA skin suit that the clans had a really big problem with.
That had sleeping dragons in it for millions of years that hadn't been allowed into their DNA lineages.
Sleeping dragons for millions of years that hadn't been allowed into their DNA lineages, and we're talking again about the Caucasian skin suits, because I tell you one thing.
Engineered skin suits.
Engineered skin suits, engineered Caucasian skin suits. And
war suits, potato suits, famine suits, karma creation suit, prostitute suit, whatever archetype you can think about, they had, that's what their skin suit technology was for. So when you were born in a body and you had everyone else that was in your body was a hooker, that's all you'd know.
And
or if everyone you know was a warrior, you were that. That's because they knew technology. DNA technology. And when you have someone like Bruce Lee, who had the charisma power of, similar to very Genghis Khan.
Yes. He was excreting those pheromones. His DNA skin suit, with a combination of that specific signature frequency, was able to emanate a frequency equation that brought this charismatic response. I mean, when you actually watch his movies, when you watch his story, when you watch these old clips of him, of actually him, not someone, you know, acting as him, it is so energetically incredible to bear witness with. Especially the more awakened you are, the more in your body, in the sensory system, the more your sensory system is allowed to give what it's taking in all the time to your conscious mind. The more you get out of these movies, and you can actually, by watching this, and they've actually scientifically proved it, by watching that again and again and again, you can train your brain. Especially if you have that DNA skin suit, there are triggers that you can train your brain to be actually that incredible also in the martial arts, and then be able to manifest it in weeks afterwards, because you've actually downloaded the programs, kind of like in the Matrix. And if you have that DNA skin suit that holds that specific signature frequency and you're being triggered, and I know what that feels like, it is something that is out of this world. It is a power that is quite scary.
Look what Bruce Lee did just from when he did Green Hornet. He proved to cameramen on the scene that he could move faster than their camera could record. And they actually had told him he had to slow down because the camera couldn't record him. There was no one else in Caucasian history doing that. You have these gunslinger people that are in our history that can shoot 15 bullets really fast, so on and so forth. But that skill set had been battling the white devils of the Britons in that area for a long time.
They call them Guaylo or Guaypo. You know, that's the white devil, white devil woman, white devil man in Cantonese.
And there's a reason they were called that. They were barbaric. They didn't have honor because they didn't have the ancestral connections of respect in them because they didn't take them from their skin suit technology. So you have somebody like Bruce Lee that comes here at a time of great spiritual awakening, the greatest of the great, showing people that you could do this for free and for fun, which is so key, working your own body, you know, to the point where you could do superhuman things.
The most important part, and that's what scared the people, was through this actual activation of the DNA skin suit, like what's happening with yoga, and that's why they kind of also manipulated the scene of yoga, is that you could actually trigger and awaken a consciousness, a form of consciousness that really threatened the system. And if you put that together with a dragon and you've got a belief system imprinted in that dragon and you awaken it so that it creates the architecture for such said reality, that ultimately was the greatest threat of all to everything that had been put in place. That was the wild card.
All those soccer moms practicing yoga was their biggest fear.
Yoga? Yeah.
A dragon wakes up doing a Kundalini yoga move? Oh my God. The same thing with martial arts. If you had a kid in the 1960s that woke up to their true power, well, you did. You had thousands of people that went out and became black belt masters because of that. And it didn't matter what color they were. He opened it up for the rest of them to go and have spiritual contracts with all the masters of the East.
And created a social consciousness, a grid of social consciousness that had such far-reaching effects into the system.
1 degree of separation unheard of so far.
Yes.
I see.
And the legend of Bruce Lee. The legend of Bruce Lee lives on. He is honored in Hong Kong, for example. He
is in the fantasy world of millions of people. For every child that has ever impersonated a Bruce Lee move, he lives on in their image.
And he's saying, be like water, my friend. Be like water.
Water is completely programmable.
So there's so much more meaning to these words when one starts to understand the multidimensional being, what was inhabiting that skin suit, and to actually give honor to that, to give the real true honor. And that's what these people are feeling. But now we're giving them a lot more information so that they can understand why he touched their souls like this. He was awakening mankind.
And the curse that you were talking about before, I relate that to being identified in time by remote viewers. Now, one can culturally translate into the curse because the mothers at that time knew that beings, very powerful beings, were watching him. Why? Because he did something no other being did. Crossed the cultural barrier, crossed the spiritual contract layer, and came on a mass media system for the first time in our history that had commercial advertising and brought a material that changed people from the first sight, where his psychic pheromone could just do what it was meant to do, connect people to the soul codes that they were missing.